I don't know like how you guys feel about AGI and like the probability of it coming or not. I'm probably closer to, it feels like the progress is very slow, but suddenly it starts accelerating. And in the AI world, like there have been a few waves of this like rapid acceleration, right? Like I think to me, like the first point came in 2013 when Ilya Sutskever and Alex Krichevsky published their famous AlexNet paper, and they started generating images with AI. It was like super slow, but they trained a neural network on some cats, dogs, and other images. And by the way, at Google, this was the pivotal moment when Google leadership realized, like, oh, holy shit, this is a very powerful technology, and we should start building the infrastructure, TPUs. By the way, my background before starting Happyverse, I worked at Google for a few years, and I was a product manager for ML infrastructure. So 2013 is when Google started thinking about like going big on AI. And then in 2017, Transformer paper got published, right? And that was another pivotal moment when people realized like, oh, we can train these neural networks very efficiently at a massive scale. And scaling law wasn't really a term. I think it got popularized by Dario Amodei later. But this is when people realize like, oh, if you throw more data into the model, if you throw more compute, it's going to be better and better. Then ChatGPT came in 2022 when there was the first major implementation of AI at a large scale. And I think the recent like launch of OpenClaw, that's just another pivotal moment when suddenly you can have an agent that can read your email, respond on your behalf, like go through the internet, like find you the right information, like do many other agentic things. And it's fascinating. What's going to be the next point when the Turing test will be passed? My own Turing test for the AGI is like when you would be able to talk to an avatar through Zoom call and you wouldn't understand that this is an avatar. It would look like human. It would have human emotions. It would have human knowledge or human way of behaving. And I think it's coming. Like it's still kind of there's still some rough edges and like it's not there yet, but it's coming. And it's very interesting. However, like no one has like a proper definition of AGI, so we decided to come up with our own. So in Happyverse world, AGI stands for authentic, grounded, and impactful. And this is how we are developing our technology, our video agents. So we're trying to solve for authenticity, where it's a personalized avatar representing real human. So not just some like newly created persona, but like attached to a real human, because our goal is how we can help people scale themselves, how we can empower a knowledge worker or business professional to use this video agent to benefit them. The second thing, it has to be grounded. So you all know that hallucination is a big problem, and how we can make sure that the avatar provides accurate information, especially if it's a client-facing avatar, right, that you want your clients to interact with. And the third thing is impactful, how we can, help you achieve your objectives, solve some pain points, or like help drive conversions from your website or increase your customer satisfaction score. So there has to be some measurable metric that you can drive with an avatar. Um, and by the way, feel free to stop me at any time. I think we have plenty of time to be able to cover all my slides and obviously like start creating the avatars. But in terms of the product, so basically the product name that we have, which we by the way trademarked, it's Happyverse Confidant. And why it's confident is because we want to emphasize trust. We want to emphasize that this is an agent that you delegate some task to, and you trust that the agent would perform that task well. And that's what we're trying to solve for. So what confident is? It consists of two parts. The first part is just the video avatar, the visual part. It's like the likeness and the voice of the user. But many companies who are working on avatars, they don't really care about the brain of the avatar. They just create like visual representation and that's it. But that's useless, right? Unless your avatar can actually reason, can actually think, and give accurate answers based on the information that you provide. And so we spend a lot of time on the other part of the avatar, which we call agent or brain or soul of the avatar. And it includes things like purpose, what's its purpose. It could be generic, just like doing everything, but usually it doesn't work particularly well if you're trying to do everything, right? Like you need to give a specific purpose, and then you need to add some knowledge or some information. And we will show you how to do this in a practical sense. Everybody has a laptop, right? Um, so there are a couple of things that I wanted to touch on. Um, so yeah, that's just like another representation of the avatar. Again, it has brain, it has face, it has memory, it has voice. Um, and what are the use cases or where it could be helpful? That's the question that I get a lot, right? Like from investors, from potential customers. So if you go to our landing page, happyverse.ai, you would see my avatar that I think should be able to join the Zoom call also. In terms of like use cases, so this particular avatar that I have on my website is designed to represent Happyverse, represent our brand, educate website visitors about the company, about my background of my team. It can also drive sales. So for instance, it can nudge the user to click on the book demo button and sign up for an appointment with me or Nora for like a meeting with real real people from Happyverse. It can also screen candidates. And as a matter of fact, I hired our founding engineer, who unfortunately left us recently, but that's a separate story. We hired him through the first screening with an avatar, because the moment I published our opening role, I got like about 300 applications in the first hour. And obviously, I didn't have a chance to go through all of them, so I threw them at ChatGPT and stack ranked them. But then even from stack ranked candidates, like there were like probably 50 that were like really legit, very strong. And I didn't have enough time to meet with all of them. So I started sending a link to my avatar for people to go through the interview because the avatar can ask questions that I would normally ask. And the candidates can also ask questions, and Avatar would provide answers that I would normally provide. And it's available in 32 languages. And so people were like speaking in Spanish, in Russian, in Mandarin, and other languages. And they were also able to test the technology. And we ended up hiring like a founding engineer, not obviously through just one level of interviews. Like we had take-home assignment and we had real human interviews, but that was sort of very helpful for the initial screening. And then the final use case on the business side is like sharing expertise. So each of us has some superpowers, some knowledge about something. Like Sergey plays volleyball, at a very professional level, like Olympic level. So like somebody who would want to learn some valuable skills from you can probably ping you, but your time is limited. And so how can you delegate, these kinds of skills to your avatar to talk to aspiring volleyball players? That's just like one example. We are thinking about this technology right now more as a co-pilot. Like I don't like this term anymore. I think, Microsoft kind of came up with it and now it's like not as cool to call things co-pilot, but your video agent can help you as a professional to achieve your goals, not to replace you, right? Like theoretically, we can start creating these digital humans that can, be completely independent from humans, right? Like from real humans. And that's the possibility. And that's what many people do these days when they create like hundreds of different agents, and they don't have any specific personality. So our goal is to try to create a personalized agent that can represent you on your behalf with your guardrails, right? Like so you have control over what your agent does. So it's not complete like black box where you don't know what's going to happen. You actually have a good understanding of what it's capable of and what it's doing. And then it can help you earn more money. Like is in the example of sharing expertise, the idea is that there's going to be some group of people who would be paying you to talk to your avatar. Why? Because it would have some proprietary, unique knowledge that is not available in the generic ChatGPT or anywhere else. And also, if you are like an influencer or creator and you already have some followers who would want to talk to real you, but your time is limited. You only have 24 hours in a day and you need to sleep and you need to do many other things, right? How can you delegate certain things to your avatar such that your audience would be interested in communicating with the avatar? That's kind of good question, but also like an opportunity for everyone, right? And we already have like a public board of different examples of avatars also on our website. So if you go to, I think, About Us section on the website, you would be able to see some examples. And in terms of like professional industries or verticals, we're currently focused on financial services, um, consumer products, travel, and healthcare, but mostly on financial services because this is where we found our initial wedge. And Nora and I spent almost the whole week last week in New York, like meeting with a bunch of banks and local players because for banks, for insurance companies, human aspect matters, human presence, and that's why these industries are relevant for us. We also work with individual consumers, and I'll show you some features that we have on our platform, like interactive business card. We have a life coach, and by the way, this is how Happyverse started. Happyverse started with the idea of developing a life coach that can be your sort of digital mentor, or it's not a replacement for like mental health therapy, but more like somebody who can help you grow, who can help you set up your goals and like become a better version of yourself. So we have that product already available, coach at happyverse.ai. And then we also had this fun experiment when we created a VC pitching playground where anyone can go and try to pitch your idea to a digital twin of a real VC investor. And we had a competition back in November when we had about 100 founders pitching their ideas to an avatar, and then Avatar picked the winner. Obviously, the owner of the avatar reviewed all these applications also, but we chose the winner, and they got $10,000 investment.